So before we start with her combos, Great Saiyaman has been changed where you hold forward, it goes higher. Same thing by holding up on the air version, it goes further at a different angle. And even down, holding forward hits behind them as well. Her moonsault also has ground bounds that we'll see later on for these combos. So first thing I want to discuss is how J7S links into down heavy and heavy in her combos. So I find that delaying and also holding up forward helps to actually get the hit to land. And I found this combo on bigger characters using her 4mm to get this float extension in with the Great Saiyaman. And because of the way Great Saiyaman works, you kind of want to add that JS in your combos with your heavies. The only thing is that sometimes when I do the 7S, I use my double jump by accident, so be careful of that. And it can be really tight on small characters. However, this new ender using J8 Saiyaman does work at high hit stun even on small characters. With the 236M ground bounce changes, you can use this right off 2H to combo getting one loop in, and then super dashing in, ending with that EX Saiyaman, the J7S for 5.3k damage. That was the nicest use of that 236M in my opinion. You can also use it close to the ground to preserve the smash, but I don't think you get as nice output from it, you know? Even on really long combos, like after adding Great Saiyaman, you know, ending it as you would normally, you can still continue the combo after the ground bounce, but I just don't think you can get much from it. You can also link 5M after this, but on small characters, you can't continue the combo. Although on smalls, you can't go into 6H stuff, if you please. If you land a low to the ground EX Rekka, you can connect 2M in which can confirm super dash hits like this, for example. Here's the most optimal use of the J8S Saiyaman in a combo. You delay it a bit so Videl can land after the J2H, and then you can go into this ender right here, but it is very inconsistent, only working on bigger characters. One last thing about Videl's J8S is that it lets you tag from it, kinda like a special to add on damage. And speaking of synergy with Goku Black, bro. Oh my god, the synergy? Whew. I think that's it for Videl's new combos mid-screen with the J8S stuff. I don't know if they're more optimal than before, but can be useful to add in. And in the corner, of course, is easier to combo after her ground bounce with the J236M version for even more damage. And with her new 6S Saiyaman buffs, you can actually loop it in the corner, so Videl getting even more new loops now. So you can put it all together to get something like this as a new combo, jump cancelling after the JM, and then doing the J2S stuff into JDR. And you can even fit in EX Rekka after the medium Rekka for the ground bounce to get stuff like this, putting in a 6S here and there, now I'm saying. I guess some new Videl sauce, you feel me? For now, that's it for combos. What I want to talk about is her nerfs. So her counter super, before it would take a bar and it will power up Saiyaman, right, while you watch him dance, but this time he's in the background dancing and you only get powered up Saiyaman after he's done. You see the power popping up, and the reason why it's a nerf, yeah, it's nice to take a bar, but during this whole time Saiyaman, you can't even use him, you don't have access to him, and if Videl gets hit out, it interrupts the animation. Boom, Saiyaman's done charging and you still don't have the powered up version of him. The only good thing though is that while Saiyaman's dancing, if she's blocking, then he still stays, he's still charging up. So I can't open her up while she gets her power up. That's kind of nice, I guess. Already when you land this, the buff it gives you is insane. Like if I land another super, it does like a level 2.5 amount of damage, right? So now they balance it so that the counter super just, you know, stays a counter super. So it guarantees the buff and guarantees taking the meter away from you. As it should be. Now, not only does the super do like no damage before the powered up version, but if you end up killing, Saiyaman doesn't do his dance. It gets interrupted by the character coming in. So Videl doesn't get a power for getting a KO. That's, that part is a bit rough, man. So just be aware of that. Make sure you use it when it's gonna kill, and make sure your OK is tight, because now fellas are gonna want to reflect you, right? They're gonna want to try to get away, interrupt Saiyaman's animation, so keep that in mind. Not saying it's worthless, but you can have like your assist, do the OK for you, then stay safe, maybe even return back to neutral while Saiyaman's done. But I don't know, I don't really recommend using it in combos unless it's the powered up version. So landing the counter early on in game and then afterwards getting into Saiyaman is the move. What is cool though is that while setting up Great Saiyaman, if you do get like a JH on OK on a hit, then you can combo up, kind of delaying it as much as you can. But when you fall, that's when you can kind of use Saiyaman 6S again to extend a little bit, going to the powered up super. That's pretty cool, I guess. Now, if you're really desperate to get the Great Saiyaman buffs early on, man, if you have 3 bars, you can do 3 over supers, for a full combo protecting Great Saiyaman. Don't have to worry about nothing. And then the super, and by the time you finish, you do get that boy. So one of the main things that caught me interested in Videl in this patch is her dodge mechanic. I think this is why the perfect reflect was kind of inspired from. Unlike reflect, you don't get anything extra. Just a well-timed dodge gives you a quarter of a bar. And the reason why I say Videl influenced perfect reflect is because unlike other characters, she gets true punishes every time. Whereas reflect doesn't really give you a true punish, only reflects them away. And even on whiff, she can cancel into her DP, making this an insane move. So I think that's the main reason why they wanted to buff reflects. They wanted to give it something extra. But I don't know. We'll talk more about reflects in the mechanics of the game another time. She has to pick between dodging or doing her super. You have to pick which one you want to choose. Obviously, landing the super is more important, but that does cost a bar. Another interesting thing with Videl that you could do, I guess, is the pressure with Great Saiyaman there. You know, it can make for some interesting pressure, I guess, because that's plus. But you can also whiff it on purpose, which can be interesting. One thing that I thought would be crazy for real is her 3S. You see how it kind of hits behind GT here? You can do it after IEDs, maybe to pressure up, but I'm GT right now and I'm just holding back, so it doesn't actually cross up. This move does not hit cross up. The tracking ain't that good either, so I don't really know. But in neutral, right? In neutral, JS doesn't really reach that far, but at the same jump height, 8S, J8S does reach, so you don't have to be super jump height anymore for this to reach. And that means that you can set up some pressure strings, come in, pull up here. So yeah, GT's jumping here. My new 8S can kind of help with that. And also 6S more specifically is what handles jump. So if you pair this with an assist, you can get hits like that. But yeah, just new ways of playing neutral I think is much better, especially with Saiyaman's 2S now kind of tracking. So this can help to set up some scenarios, maybe doing like boom plus assist, have it lingering around behind you. I don't know, maybe you could use like the 3S to help staircase them down, but you can see like how it just whiffs there. So the tracking ain't that good. Maybe with assist it can help, but I still think the 6S and the J8S is better for neutral purposes. They also sped up moonsault kicks and also increased her invincibility. But they did make it more punishable by being able to 2H it if they see it coming. And now her busted C assist has even more invincibility starting earlier now. And that wraps up this video. Let me know what y'all think of Videl and who should be next on the channel.